And we're going. What? Don't look at me like I betrayed you. Like a fiend of some sort that's betraying your trust and your... Do you have a thing?
Welcome to Opinion Havers, a movie podcast for gay villains. I'm Cody.
And I'm Tyler.
Tyler, what did we watch?
We watched a Bond movie. The Diamonds Are Forever.
Yeah, we did. We watched the cuss out of it. I mean, we couldn't have watched it any more than we did.
You loved it.
I loved every second of it. It was one of them. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I know what you're saying.
Tyler, I'm gonna spoil this movie. I'm gonna rant. There's too much to say.
You're
and we
rant?
need to get started.
You gonna rant? Well,
and I'm starting.
Wait.
Soon. Not quite yet, but I am gonna start
quite
pretty soon.
Yet. Because Cody, we have the gigantic TV setup.
Oh yeah.
So I don't think I have clock on here. How do I not have?
Oh, and you don't have a keyboard, so you're just scrolling through the computer with just your mouse. Oh, alarm and clock.
Oh, was that alarm and clock? There
Alarm
it is.
and clock. It's got both.
Oh,
do it.
well, look at it.
It's pretty glorious.
What more do you need than a mouse? That's the real thing, Cody. You just need a mouse.
I thought the keyboard was most important. I've been wrong this whole time.
Is it 5 minutes?
Sure is.
Are you ready?
Yeah. Nipple. There's a nipple. All right? I know I say it every time. There was a legitimate nipple in the first 30 seconds of this movie. Like, this movie starts, and it's like, it starts as if it has already been going for 30 minutes. Like, we're in the action. We're doing the thing. James Bond, he's taking women's tops off. He's strangling them with the top. And I was like, what? Who is this? What happened? What happened to James Bond between the last movie and this movie? And it just went. Like, a lot of them are kind of like, what's this thing going on? Or there's little action and then so this one was just like non-stop. It was coming at you. And I was like, do I have to know what any of these people are? These people James Bond are killing? I know James Bond always, like, a woman always dies because of James Bond. But this is one where he literally just strangles a woman with a bikini top in the very beginning of the movie. It was incredible. You know, they've gone hard on Bond villains before, and the ones in this one put them all to shame. It's a gay couple who are the most terrifying people I've ever met. There's a man with the worst haircut I've ever seen, and there's a guy who makes the worst puns I've ever heard, and in tandem, it's the creepiest anyone has ever been. It made me feel bad for the LGBTQA plus community. I felt for them. So I was like, there are so many ways that they've been set back in their time, but I didn't even know about this one, you know, and it was brought to my attention. I realized this is it. This is the thing's been holding them back, is the Diamonds Are Forever made everyone have a terrible view of gay people because they're the creepiest villains I've ever seen. This movie also features a woman. There's a woman who's involved in this movie for like, what? 2.5 minutes. Her name is Plenty O'Toole, which and I know there's been women, and it's like, what's the one? Pussycat, you know? And you're like, well, that's the most ridiculous name. They won't do anything. Plenty O'Toole. I just like, what? Plenty O'Toole. I don't understand. And she came in, and she was just, you know, Bond girls are classy. They're these classy. Sometimes they're spies, sometimes they're not, sometimes, you know, but they're all involved and subtle. And she was just like, hey, you've got money there, and I think I want some of it. Can I be your friend? I was like, oh, no, you Plenty O'Toole, you got to get out of here. This movie, they go to Las Vegas, and best stand-up comedian I've ever heard in this movie. He's sitting there, he's an old man, he's got 2 showgirls on either arm, and he tells jokes like he hates it. Like, the worst, he rattles them off. Gets through a set as fast as possible. I thought it was wonderful. There's also the world's best craps dealer, who is a man. He is a man he's a mumbler. He mumbles. He's a crap dealer, and he says classic lines like, "You got his head," and that's it. He's calling it out. Made me so. It was terrible. There's a lot of intrigue. Plenty O'Toole gets thrown off a window. Someone paid a henchman to go into Bond's room, grab whoever was with him, and throw him out the window. And that's what they did. There's a black woman working at the circus who turns into a gorilla. And I don't even know what to say about it. Just to acknowledge you that it happens. There's even more nipples in this movie. There's a dead woman in the pool. And they're just like, yeah, you're wearing a white shirt and it's in the pool. And you're like, what? There's too many nipples. It's one thing I appreciate about the new Bond movies I've seen. There's no nipples. Here's the thing. There is a Joshua Tree in this movie, making it the best James Bond movie that's come out yet. James Bond goes on a fake moon landing set that's in the middle of the desert, steals a rover. He drives a car on two wheels, the side wheels, not like the Vin Diesel Fast and Furious 2 wheels, like the back wheels, it's the side wheels. There's an aquarium bed. He wears a terrible short pink tie that makes me real upset. There are two women gymnast fighters, bodyguards called Bambi and Thumper. And what? Who greenlighted that? Who heard that and said it was a good idea? There's a girl who wears a bikini, but the bottom is too far down. You see a little butt crack the whole time. It's upsetting.
We're going to have to cut you off there, Cody. We're going to have to cut off your rant right in the midst of the heat of your frantic trying to come up with stuff to talk about for the last 40 seconds of your rant.
I was trying to see if I could burn through all of my notes, and I came pretty close.
Oh.
Yeah, I did a good job.
Are you prepared? Is your body ready?
I'm certainly ready.
Here's the thing, Cody. You forgot about so many things. First off, most importantly, the buggy. The rover, really. It's a rover that he stole from the moon set. He got in the rover. He drove it away. He closes the hatch of the rover. The rover has little appendages to manipulate the dirt. It just looks like it reminded me of a toddler waddling away very quickly, just as fast as it can. Because his little arms are just kind of bouncing as it's going. And they race him in tricycles. Just little tiny trikes with wheels that are like the size of off-roading wheels, but they're obviously just like balloon wheels that are overinflated, like big old wheels. Like you would drive these in water. Like that's like what that seemed to be like, and it's just weird. Okay, Mr. Wynn and Mr. Kidd are the golden girls of this movie, okay? They're so good. They're the best ones. I think Mr. Wynn is actually legitimately famous outside of this Bond movie. I am almost certain I've seen him in other things. And Mr. Kidd too, possibly. But they are sinister. They are scary. They're always there. They're one step ahead of everybody. And nobody seems to be in on it. Also, the golden thing that shattered was his aftershave. We asked what it was. I thought it came out of Bond. It came out of Mr. Wynn. It was his aftershave, and it gave him away, and he died. He died, Cody. They tried to burn up Bond in a car. Here's the thing. I don't know much about getting cremated. But in my experience, they don't cremate you in one of the expensive $8,000 coffins. They put you in like a cardboard box. It's a sturdy cardboard box. It might even be a wooden box. But oh boy, is it not freshly lacquered, super nice with pillows in it. They shove you in an oven. They light you on fire. In fact, Cody, fun fact. Here's a story from my pops. He was in that. He was thinking he wanted to do that. Here's what you didn't know. People have to watch the body burn. You've got witnesses. It's a law, I think. So the body's in there, bare body's in there getting burned. Two people have to look in the view scopes. He was checking it out, seeing if you want to do it, looking in the view scope. You know what happens to a body when it gets that hot? Muscles contract. Boom, sat bolt upright in that oven, that dead body. And it scared him so bad he never wanted to do it again. But Cody, this movie is so good. He impersonates another man. He's looking for the radiation shields. He leaves, and then as the door is shutting, the man he is impersonating comes in. It's so smooth. He got out just when he needed to get out. Did you for 1 second think Mr. White was that young? Because I thought he was an 85-year-old man. And then he was like obviously 30. And then he comes up in here and he's like, what is happening? What is happening? And they came in and they busted him out, and he's like, oh, you see, you met Bambi and Thumper. Like he was in on it. But then he's like, what is happening to me? Like they reminded him, like, you're a prisoner. Like he's like, I'm in on it. But then someone like smacked him in the back of the head and be like, you're a prisoner here. Remember that. And he's like, tell me what happened to me. And then they get him out of there. And then Bambi and Thumper, they lost that fight, but they did a lot of moving. They moved around a lot. They were having a Dragon Ball Z fight. James Bond was having a James Bond fight. That's why they lost. That's why they got drowned. They did not swim like men, Cody. They swam like Bambi and Thumper. Cody, there were so many women in this movie. He cycled through them so fast. There was the old nun lady. She died. There was the Penny, what's her name? Peter O'Toole. She got thrown. She thought she was gonna die. You thought it was gonna be graphic, but no. But then there was also, it was a Pussy Galore was the name you were looking for. Pussy Galore. Just let that sink in. But then there was this one chick that was just always there, and she never did the good thing, but she fell for everything. She was so dumb. Because it's usually like, oh, the girl's in on it. She's doing something. She's beating Bond. She's beating Bond. I hit the bag, Cody. Move on. She's beating Bond. She's helping Bond. This girl, she just kind of, if she was doing well and someone's like, hey, why don't you come follow me instead? She was like, okay. And she followed that person instead. And she's like, I did it. I switched the tapes, Bond.
All right, I'm going to have to cut you off right there. Here's the thing about that woman. One of the times when she's like, okay, I'll come with you, she steps into a car with the villain in full drag.
Yeah. Which, I don't know if you remember, my response was, is that necessary? Did he need to dress like that to sneak out?
She was getting in the car anyway, right?
Yeah, like, no one's noticing
he
him.
was in full makeup. It was like he basically looked like a Mrs. Doubtfire, but like from the 70s instead of like the late 80s. It was terrifying. That reminds me of when there was two Blofelds. Because that's how it starts, when someone's about to look like Blofeld. Oh, yeah.
And he kicks the cat, and he's like, right idea, wrong pusher.
Oh, my God.
And I'm like, stop calling the cat a pussy. This is making me very uncomfortable.
Oh, my God. I think it was very clever, although cruel, of James Bond to attack the cat, because he knew the cat would go to whoever the owner was.
He didn't kick the cat. He kicked the cushion and launched the cat in the air, and he's like, the cat will go to its owner. But he kicked the cat to somebody.
Based on what I know about cats, most cats would run away.
Yeah.
Right? They would just, like, run away.
Like, you're going for a dog.
But here's the thing. Not only did they make a clone of the dude, there were multiple kitty cats. Like,
yeah.
Did he clone the kitty cats, or they just, like...
Well, they didn't clone him.
They
just made another dude with the
There's a similar
surgery.
cat? I know, they didn't clone him, but I mean, they made a...
Did they surgically alter the cat?
Did they surgically alter a cat to make it like the same cat?
No, I think they just got another white cat.
Oh, man. This movie, it felt very long. It was one of the more ridiculous movies we've seen. Like,
it was ridiculous.
They end on an oil rig, and like the girl we've been talking about, Bond, oh my God, this is so crazy, because at the end... Okay, this is too much.
I thought you were going to talk about him parachuting as in a hamster ball.
Oh, he does parachute in a hamster ball down
and he
to the...
rolls up to a dock. Obviously built for that
hamster
thing.
Ball dock. Oh my goodness. Okay,
because it's like this. It's like 2 inches of water above like a platform, and then a little U shape. I'm like, no boat is getting on this dock. This is for the hamster ball.
It's so funny because when it lands, I was like, what's in there? What is that? And then I saw it rolling. I was like, well, I mean, it looks like someone's running in there like a hamster, but that is too far-fetched. That's exactly what is happening.
I thought it was going to be like a space capsule from their moon landing test site. Fake moon landing? It was. You said fake moon landing, but then it was
that.
So it was.
What even was it?
I think what it was
a
supposed
set
to
that
be
looks like the moon and astronauts pretending to be on like actors playing astronauts pretending
But
to be on the moon?
the scientists up there said something that made me think they're testing the equipment, but then why are the astronauts acting like they're in low gravity? Because it's like, it's not like they're on wires, they're just acting.
Oh my god, that chase scene through the desert with the stupid...
And why didn't they break character when he showed up? Like, if they're faking something...
Some guy's about to steal their rover. If they were truly in character, they would have tried to stop the man stealing their rover.
They just kept... But they couldn't move fast enough.
They kept doing the slow motion, like...
That's the thing. They tried to stop him, but they weren't fast enough because of gravity.
Like, it's one of those things, like, it was in the script. The guy's like, it'd be really funny if, like, we made a play, like, people think they faked the moon landing or something. And, like, that just didn't get, like, fully executed on the day of shooting. Like, what are we doing here? Like,
yeah, it's like the people set up the thing is like, oh, it's like a test environment, but then the actors were told that you're faking the moon landing.
Yeah.
And then they saw James Bond appear behind it, and they're like, what do we do? I guess just keep going slow?
Oh my god.
I don't know.
Like, the end of this movie, the lady's there, all right? The lady who helped Bond then didn't, but then kind of went with whoever was around. I was confused. Was she a spy? Did she work for the company?
She was a diamond person.
She was hiring a diamond smuggler. Okay, that was it.
Yeah, she was in charge of getting the diamonds. But yeah, you're right. She would just be on whoever was closest to her. She was on that team.
So at the end, she's been taken hostage by Mr. Doubtfire, and she's on the oil rig, and she's in a bikini because that's what you do when you're on an oil rig, and
she gotta look sexy.
The whole point of the thing, like, there's a satellite, right? The satellite's powered by diamonds. They send it out, and it's like a ray, and it's disarming and blowing up nuclear missiles, right?
Yeah.
So the idea is he's holding countries hostage, saying, hey, if you pay me money, then I won't destroy your nuclear missiles. So the highest bidder gets nuclear supremacy, which that rivals the last scheme where it was like, we're going to hold people hostage so you can't have babies. The world will pay me money. I don't know.
Well, it's like, what did I say? What did I say when he blew up the missile?
Something.
I said, shut the door to all the missile silos.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Also, they shot a laser at a submarine underwater.
They shot a laser at an underwater submarine.
And blew it up.
Sure did.
That wouldn't work, Cody.
No, it would. It would, and it did, and you watched it happen, so obviously it did work. They're on the oil rig. The whole thing is there's a cassette tape.
Yeah.
And it goes into the machine, and it activates the machine. But the thing is there's a decoy tape, okay? And Bond has the decoy tape, and he goes in, and he's like, girl, you betrayed me. And then he switches the tape. Then he gives her the tape and then makes her think that that's the tape that needs to be switched in. So then she goes and switches the tapes. So then the tape that shouldn't be in there is in there. And then she tells Bond, and he's like, that was the one that was supposed to be in there. Like, what are you doing? You ruined my whole plan.
Yeah.
You ruined my whole plan. It's like, why didn't you tell her what the plan was? If you didn't trust her, why did you even give her the tape? Why did you tell her you did anything? Second point.
Why didn't you just
number 2.
Whip it off the thing?
Why didn't you remove the tape? The bad tape, remove it. You you throw it, you break it, you crush it, or you just take the tape out. The tape that's in, you take the tape out. You don't have to replace it with anything. You just take the tape out. It wouldn't work, right?
Right.
Also, last thing about this plot hole. The woman went in and switched the tapes, no problem. Then she's like, oh no, I messed up. I gotta go and switch the tapes again. And then, like, she can't do it. It's like, what happened the other time you switched the tape when all the same people were in the room still?
She was also going all slow and trying to be sneaky while Blofeld is just watching her like, what are you doing? Also,
why didn't you just eject the tape and crush it?
This is the most important part of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is the control codes for the satellite.
Yeah.
Which you could argue that's why he didn't destroy it, because they needed the control codes to turn it off. Would you put... I mean, that would be like putting just like a stop button on all the nukes. Just a big red button that says stop.
Yeah.
Because he just pushes the eject button and it fires the tape out.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like...
And that's the thing, too, is like, he's walking Bond through his evil lab where all this nuclear stuff is happening, and Bond goes up and pretends to fake ejecting the tape, and it's like, why are you even letting Bond touch any of the controls to your nuclear missile destroying satellite control center?
Yeah. Also, you made a good point. Why did he have to smuggle those diamonds? Like, the amount of diamonds in that bag would, like, you could just go to a jeweler and be like, hey, man, I'll give you $10 million to buy $50 million worth of diamonds.
Yeah.
And you know what they would do?
What?
They would buy those diamonds and not ask a darn question. And you could get them. No one would be suspicious of why are they buying so many diamonds? Because they would probably be like, well, I don't need to buy them here. You can just have this sack here.
It's just like, it's a movie for boomers. Because we know that baby boomers are obsessed with diamonds.
And lasers.
And lasers.
Do they spell with an S or a Z, though? That's the question.
Lasers.
Depends on what it stands for.
Probably an S.
It's an acronym, you know.
Long activating ray of super energy rays.
I think that was just a lot of R's.
Larser. I can spell. I just can't spell and make up acronyms at the same time.
Yeah.
This movie. Okay, do you want to talk about my favorite part of this movie?
Yes.
First off, my second favorite part is the blue and orange uniforms on the oil rig. Those are beautiful. We need an NFL team with those colors. I don't know why they haven't done it yet. I propose any of them. Any of them can do it.
You'd call up the Rams.
The Rams, they don't care, and they're moving every which way. Like, yeah, let's redo it. Here's the thing. End of this movie. I know last movie, the best death I said was the snowblower of the bloody snow.
Yeah.
Making a rainbow. That was pretty cool. This one, end of the movie, you think it's over. Bond is off on his honeymoon with his sweetheart or whatever. And Mr. Kip and Dr. Herring come in. Kip white.
Mr. Win and Mr. Kid.
Win Kid. Anyway, they are they pretend to be waiters and they're like, look, we got you oysters and we got you wines and we got you whatever. Here you go.
Oysters on the loose, Cody.
And there's a bomb. They made a cake that looks like a bomb. Where did they get that from? These guys are just serial killers that are hired by an evil genius to like, oh, I'll just pick the people. You just kill whoever you want all the time, and that's your job. So anyway, they're going to go. Bond catches them for two reasons. First, he's like, I've smelled your aftershave before. You mentioned that part. Second, he's like, oh, I wish you had this kind of wine. And he's like, oh, we're very out of that kind of wine. He's like, oh, but the wine you gave me is that kind of wine. And he's like, oh. And anyway, they fight.
Yeah, they're fighting.
Mr. What's his name?
Mr. Kid.
Gets lit on fire. Did you see that part?
Yeah, but you missed his sinister lead up to that.
Tell me.
Where Mr. Wynn and Bond are fighting, and Mr. Kid very calmly and very slowly picks up two shish kebabs, holds them over the sterno, so that they ignite instantly.
Oh, yeah.
And then slowly and carefully approaches
James Bond.
Yeah. Who then sprays him with the wine. Mm-hmm. And that lights on fire.
Right. So it's just a gay man burning to death on the ship.
Yeah.
The next guy...
Which, for all those who think, oh, you don't know they're gay, they just held hands. They're also, he says she's very attractive, and Mr. Wynn looks at him, he's like, for a woman. Mm-hmm. Which I think is proof, too, that they are a couple.
Well, he gives him a dirty look when he says the other person's attractive. Like, so they're a thing. Obviously, because he got jealous when he said
he got jealous, and he said it for a woman, which means he's like, I mean, as far as I can tell. Which would be like, I think Henry Cavill's an incredibly attractive person for a man.
Yeah, it's the reverse.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other guy explodes with a bomb, right? Is that what happens?
Yeah, so he does the thing where he grabs his hands and like crushes his nuts with them.
Yeah.
Which coincidentally, the two showgirls are called the acorns.
Oh yeah.
And then he makes a squeal, like a very comical Three Stooges squeal. Mm-hmm. And then he puts the bomb in his hand.
Yeah.
and then flips him over the rail, and he blows up midair.
Mid-air with seconds to spare. And I was like, if the bomb's going to go off that fast, how are Kip and Wynn going to get out of there?
I don't know. They were planning on serving them food.
I mean, a
Were they
whole
just going to
meal.
go out in a blaze of glory? Glory?
Maybe.
Blarney?
So that scene was, I mean, just when I was like, oh, the movie's over. Cool. That was a long one. It's done. And then I was like, oh, no. The gay guy's going to pretend to be wait, are going to try to kill the guy? It's going to be terrible. Because they're creepy.
They're so good.
They're terrifying.
Everybody loves them.
To your point about the hotel owner, Mr. White, what was his name?
He is an industrial entrepreneur. What's the word I'm looking for?
Willard White. Tycoon?
Tycoon.
He is quite the tycoon. Turns out he's also a country star. Jimmy Dean didn't know that. Here's the thing. Jimmy Dean, Willard White, that's the name of the character. Willard White? Yeah, no, I thought he was like an 85-year-old, because he never leaves that penthouse. Like, oh, he must be like an old recluse. Nope. Like a 30, 35-year-old dude, 40-year-old dude? Just like...
literally Jimmy Dean in the 70s. Or when did this movie come out?
71, probably, if
yeah,
I'm guessing.
so however old Jimmy Dean was in 71, that's how old Willard White is.
I couldn't believe that. It was...
I was shocked. I was like, who's this guy they found
Also,
under
okay,
the...
help me understand. Bambi and Thumper.
Yeah.
Were they Willard White's bodyguards, or were they the bad guy's person who's there to protect, make sure he doesn't get out?
I think they were his bodyguards that Blofeld bought off to imprison him in his house.
That's smart. Yeah, so their whole thing is that they do spins and improvise fight scenes, right?
They are
gymnasts,
and it's like they gave them no fight training. They're just like, fight him.
And two, they do the whole thing. They do cartwheel kicks. They're swinging around on like the thingy
Chandelier.
Yeah, chandelier thing. They're doing kicks. They're doing teamwork. They almost drown James Bond, and then right when they've basically won the fight, he somehow drowns them both at the same time.
Yeah, he just comes up and grabs their heads and pushes them underwater, and they cannot figure it out.
He can use one hand to keep two different human beings that were previously winning in a fight underwater. Also, they go up and he's like, hey, do you know where White is being hidden? And he's like, not yet. And then he lifts the girl up. She doesn't say anything, and then he puts her back down. Then he lifts her up, and then he's like, he's down there. And it's like, you never asked them the question.
Yeah, also Felix is who says that to him. He busts in with all the CIA guys. Which, also, earlier in the movie, he's like, don't worry, I got a friend named Felix who can fix anything. And then they get pulled over by the police, and she's like, can he fix... He's like, but you can just call your friend Felix, right? And he's like, yeah, but Blofeld can fix anything, too. I'm like, what?
What's the point of
This
Felix?
is like her saying, like, don't worry, I can take care of it. This is how it should have gone. Her saying, like, don't worry, I have a friend that can help us out. And then his response would be like, yeah, but Blofeld also has friends who can help him out.
I don't...
But he did both lines himself. He said it, and then he's like, yeah, but you're dumb and we're bone. But it was him to himself.
So what I'm saying is, let's go to Las Vegas. Here's the thing.
I've been to the Golden Nugget.
There are two sayings in this movie that we have to discuss before our time runs out.
Okay.
Number one, explain to me what these two things mean that were both said by the main girl.
All
right. Number one, like a monkey handles coconuts.
Yeah, no, I have no idea.
All right. Number two, to James Bond, blow up your pants.
Yeah, I have no idea.
If you know what either of those two things mean, I need you to tweet me at Opinion Havers, because I have no idea.
I think they were just ad libs, and she forgot her line.
Blow up your pants like a monkey handles coconuts.
Because if she was insinuating something about him handling boobs, then I would understand. But it wasn't.
But it was just out of nowhere. I don't know. So there you go. There you have it. Diamonds are forever.
Also, I just want to really quickly, she couldn't switch out the tapes, but she could avoid like roughly 1,000 CIA agents all around her.
Also, she shoots a gun And the recoil causes her to fall off of an oil rig like 50 feet to the ocean.
Yeah, and then James Bond swan dives to follow her.
James Bond's like, all right, now let's jump. And he's like, oh, no, she's gone. All right, well, I'll jump.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
He also, rather than going in, ejecting the tape, and then taking it with him or smashing it, he decides to risk it not getting destroyed and just smash all of the machines with the submarine that Blofeld is in.
You could have, blew up everything instead. From the beginning. I don't know. He did it. He saved the day. He got the girl, and he killed 2 gay serial killers. So, like, way to go.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
It was a good one.
It was
For
the
its
best
sheer
one.
ridiculousness, it was pretty good.
It was the best one, and we're going to watch the next one.
The next one's going to be Roger Moore, and it's going to be all boring, I bet.
I'm so excited because Moonraker is my favorite, and I'm excited for it. But, Cody, that's so far away. Until then, how could they watch more of our listen?
They can watch it on
read?
YouTube. It's just a still, but you can watch that still while you listen. We're on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify. We're on Stitcher. What else do you need? Nothing. And if you want to reach out to us, how do you do that?
You tweet Cody. Cody's in charge of the Twitter, so he probably checks it every other Tuesday. And add opinion havers.
That's right. So until next time,
watch movies
and
have opinions. I don't trust Cody with
did
it
me
anymore.
dirty.
He can't do it. You got to watch movies and have opinions. He's always like, have opinions and watch trailers. What? That's Cody every time. I'm sending Mr. Kid and Mr. Win after you now.
I would just die. I couldn't do it.
Very moving.